Hey everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today is all about how to get started with drawing. If you are interested in learning how to draw and are just getting started, then this video is for you. I'm going to give you tips and tricks on how to get started with drawing, and I hope you join me. When it comes to starting your journey with drawing, you do not need expensive art supplies. This is just a teeny tiny little art journal by Talon's Art, and this is just a gel pen by a Sharpie. And all I like to do sometimes is just put my pen to paper and see what I can create. I actually started drawing with crayons. I never actually used typical art supplies. It was all crayons. And I spent hours drawing with my daughter and just playing around and seeing what I can create. And I think one of the fun things when it comes to drawing with a child is that you're not beating yourself up over perfection. You're not trying to do the best. You're just like in the moment and having fun. And that's what it's all about when it comes to drawing, especially if you're new to it. Keep your lines loose, draw what you love, and see what you can create. It's not about perfection, and it's not about starting with a bunch of rules. I know that others will tell you there's all these rules you have to follow, but when you give a kid some art supplies, are they following any rules, or are they just creating because they love to create? They're not creating because they're trying to follow rules. And I think if you want freedom when it comes to drawing, you need to just start with pen or pencil to paper and draw whatever you feel like, however it comes out. This is like, what was this, a 1 minute drawing? What can you do in 1 minute? What can you do with a pen and paper? And just create and see what comes out. Now, I like to say in my videos that your drawings come to life once you color them. Sometimes you'll draw something that looks really horrible and then you color it and it ends up looking really good. Some people get worked up about perfection and starting with the fundamentals and doing it perfectly right. But I think when you let go and you just have fun with what you're doing, you discover your own unique style and you let go of all the rules. And maybe it's important to understand the rules, but at the same time, I think I just was happy learning how to create art without rules with my daughter. And you know what? Letting that childlike playfulness shine through. And that's what my art is all about, and I encourage you to give it a try as well. There's no need to always be perfect. Sometimes how to start with art and drawing just means starting. Just start and see what evolves. Draw what you love. Flowers, birds. Take your art journal with you wherever you go and take a few minutes to draw and see what comes out. The other thing I like to tell people is you do not need to share your art journal with anyone. This was a super fun drawing, and you saw the before picture. I just find when you add color, even if your drawing is imperfect, you can still end up with something good when you color it in. So the first point when it comes to how to start drawing is just start. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to have fun. Now, once you've started drawing and you just put your pen or pencil to paper and you scribbled a few things out and got some doodles out there and you got comfortable, the next thing I suggest is just playing with shapes and trying to, see what you can draw with shapes. Sometimes it's nice to just draw circles. I've done this activity before where I like to draw circles or different shapes, but I'll draw circles and no, they're not perfect. And then I can see, what do I want to draw here? And sometimes it will be something as simple as flowers, very rudimentary flowers, and that's okay. Sometimes it'll be more than that. Sometimes it will be faces. Sometimes I did this one video that I really loved and I deleted it, which makes me sad, but I'll do it here, is I drew flowers like this, just really wonky, weird flowers. But again, if you've got an art journal and you're doodling and you're just starting your art journey or drawing journey, what I did was I drew faces in here and then colored it in, and it was so cool. So I'll do that now and just show you. Sometimes it's just drawing the same shape or the same thing over and over and over again, and then playing with it and see what you can create. Now, everything I do is simple, but it ends up just bringing me joy and having fun. And isn't that the point of drawing? Sometimes a simple doodle can get the creative juices flowing, and you get to discover what it is that you like to draw. So sometimes you just need to draw a circle a whole bunch of times and then color it in, see what comes out without any expectations. The moment when you start drawing that you have expectations and you're trying to draw something specific and be perfect is almost the moment, especially when you're a beginner, that you lose the love and joy of drawing. Again, try to find that childlike joy within yourself and see what comes out. An art journal or a sketchbook is a great way to give yourself permission to play. And that's what I did here. I just played. Nothing's perfect. It just came from my imagination, all from drawing a bunch of circles. And so when it comes to starting drawing, just grab yourself some paper and, a pen or markers, draw some circles and see what comes out. I think you would surprise yourself about what's inside your imagination or what's within you that comes out onto the paper. It is so much fun to give yourself permission to play when it comes to starting to draw, learning to draw, and just picking up a pencil and seeing what comes out. That way, you're not putting pressure on yourself and you're allowing yourself to have fun while learning a new skill. Final thing I wanted to mention when it comes to art supplies, when it comes to starting your art journey or your drawing journey, your drawing supplies don't have to be expensive. Whether it's a teeny tiny little inexpensive sketchbook or some sketch paper to Sharpie markers and tempera paint sticks, you can find all sorts of art supplies that are low cost, that don't make you feel like, oh, I spent all this money on expensive art supplies, now I have to make something, super perfect. I love tempera paint sticks. These are Artist Loft tempera paint sticks. Sharpie, just regular Sharpie markers are so much fun. These are Artex colored pencils. I love the Artex colored pencils. And then I have just a variety of gel pens that I like to use. The one thing that I did splurge on for myself after, 8 or 9 years of drawing were the Caran d'Ache, what are these? Neocolor, they're like crayons, except they're almost like crayons for adults. And I've had them since Christmas, and only now am I starting to really enjoy adding them to my art. I think when I first started drawing, I thought I needed the best of everything, but it turns out I really love things that are affordable and easy to get in my area and just not something that I have to search high and low for. I have a whole bunch of pencils, but I don't use them. I will typically use a pen, and I think the reason why I like to use a pen when drawing is because I have to work with my mistakes rather than erasing and redrawing, erasing and redrawing. When I get into that, then I start striving for perfection, and when you start striving for perfection, you start getting frustrated. Rather than knowing when I make a mark with a pen or a marker, I cannot erase it and I have to make it work. That is how I've always drawn, and I think that allows me to push forward even when my art is imperfect or wonky. It helps me with my creativity when it comes to painting as well, because I accept that it's not perfect, but I really have fun doing it, and it brings me, it brings me so much joy. I hope these tips and tricks helped you when it comes to starting drawing. I suggest just start, grab whatever art supplies you have, grab some printer paper, whatever it is, and just start drawing and see what comes out. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching.